welcome back to the channel that knows nothing. I'm Jam, and let's get to it. So today we're diving on into the Bookish time travel tag, so let's go. Question number 1 in this tag is, what is your favorite historical setting for a book? And I really don't think this counts, but I'm picking medieval fantasy or even just medieval vibe. I don't care, like the Game of Thrones, like Outlander, Fourth Wing vibe. I feel like it doesn't count as historical because it's fake. Oh well, I'm picking it anyway, I don't care. Question number 2 is, what writers would you go back to visit if you could time travel? And I am for sure picking Shakespeare for this one. Mainly to be like, why is everything you say so poetic? And also I love everything you've ever done. Well, not everything, but most things that you've done. Solid work, boy. Question number 3 in this tag is, what book would you travel back in time and give it to your younger self? I am not sure that I would go back in time and give my younger self any book, because I am in the habit of, if someone tells me to do something, that's the last thing I want to do. Like, doesn't matter what it is. If someone tells me to do something, I'm like, guess what I'm not going to do then? Plus, I think my book journey, or coming into reading books, was very unique. Look at me, I'm the big naughty. Hello everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe. Plus, I think my reading experience was a bit unique because obviously I'm dyslexic, didn't love reading, and I didn't even like writing, but now those are like 2 of my favorite things to do in the entire world. And I don't think I would change that. I don't think I would go back and make myself, like my younger self, read anything, because I found it like to be a major struggle. And like Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Percy Jackson were the my introduction into the book world, and I don't think I would want to change that. As much as I don't like Diary of a Wimpy Kid now, Percy Jackson was like my favorite book of all time, and I think it always will be really like sentimental to me, and I'm almost crying saying this. So I don't think I would want to go back and give my younger self a different book based on those feelings. Question number 4 is, what is your favorite futuristic setting? And I feel like I have to pick, I don't know if this counts, it probably doesn't, but it's a futuristic setting that doesn't exist, so I'm going to pick it anyway. It's Fourth Wing. Like, that Dragon Academy vibe was something I would fucking have loved to grow up with, but I get it as an adult, so I'm just as happy with that outcome. But just that premise, I don't even care about the other characters. I'm like, going to a Dragon Academy and a dragon choosing me? Fuck yes, that's like the dream. That's not my actual dream, but like, you know, it's pretty cool. Number 5 is spoiler time. Do you ever skip ahead to the end of the book to read what happens? I used to do this a lot. I used to flip to the end of every book I ever read and read the last sentence. I stopped doing that like as I got older, because I was just like, that's stupid, why would I do this? And a lot of the time that would ruin the end of the book for me, obviously. But I don't do that anymore. Book talk and reels ruin that for me now, because oh my lord, a recent spoiler that I shouldn't have known, that I'm really upset that I knew going into it. Okay, story time about this one, just real sidetrack moment. I was listening to this book because basically my friends were just like, you really can't base it off this one here because it's trash and the others are better. And I was like, okay, I'll read the rest. And my god, this one was really good. I enjoyed it so much, except evil TikTok ruined it for me. Oh, I'm so mad. I think I went down a rabbit hole, or I watched one that was to do with this sort of setting. And I'm really mad because I was like, you know, going along, and all of a sudden there was a bit about Reese telling everybody else what the conditions were at the end of this one. So like when Feyre's being like, I hate you and I don't want to be with you anymore, she's secretly like, this is just an evil plan of ours. And like, I am just really upset that like I knew that they were married and she was like High Lady of the Night Court before like actually experiencing that. So like I knew what the end of this one was, like at least a couple chapters before actually reading that, and I'm just really annoyed at TikTok. I'm like, why would you give me this? Why would you do this to me? Why? I never thought I would care about this book or this series at all, And so it's really jarring to me. I don't know how to feel. Anyway, side note, I'm now reading the third one and I'm enjoying it too. I want to see what she does. I want to see what Feyre does. Especially to Tamlin. Also, other side note, I did not like him from the beginning. And people who think that Rhys is a bigger red flag than Tamlin, what are you smoking? I'm sorry, what the fuck is that shit? Like, I know Rhys has done red flaggy crapola as well, but not nearly as much as, like, you know, Tamlin sacrificing, like, fucking everything for just one person. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like that quote where it's just like, you know, the hero would burn you to save the world, but the villain would burn the world to save you. I'm sorry, that does not apply to Tamlin. We actually got so sidetracked there. Oh well. Number 6 in this tag is, if you had a time turner, where would you go and what would you do? I don't think I would do anything. Mainly because time is a delicate thing and also things happen for a reason. Like, I do think about going back and changing things that I did or said, but like also like that's the reality of life. Like, you can't do those things. I know this question's asking if you could, but I don't know if I would, because like I can't go back and erase every mistake I've ever made, because that's such a waste of time. Like, if there was anything, I would go back in time and spend more time with people, but like, you know, life is fragile and time is short, so like you can't change. And like the beauty of that is that you can't change any of it. Like it is like whatever happens. And I think it's a good thing to live by, because you know, you can't change time. You just can't change what you did. And like, it doesn't matter what you do, someone's gonna have an, like, even if you go and fix a mistake you make, someone else is gonna have an issue with that. And you can't just spend all this time going back and trying to fix all the mistakes. It just doesn't work. Number 7 is, what is your favorite book that includes time travel or takes place in multiple time periods? And I think I have to pick Tempest for this one. This was my favorite time travel book I've ever read. I have read a few, but not enough to really have a favorite, but this one definitely stands out to me as a favorite. It's up there. It was by far had the best ending to them all, like all those time travel books I've read. This is one of the best ones ever, because it's the first book I ever read where the hero didn't get like the happy ending, and like that was so good. Like, not that like it's just good writing, it's not like good for it's not good for the characters obviously, but it's like amazing writing to have. But basically this guy can jump around in time, and like it's not always like, in like many of the time travel books, it's not always like, you know, something that they can just automatically do. But this guy has like some control of it, but also like not at the same time. It's a bit weird the way his powers work. But early on in the book we get to know how him and his love interest meet, and it's like in this really cute, adorable way. It's a very meet cute moment. And at the very end, he goes back to that moment where he first met her and decides not to have that meet cute moment. And I'm getting goosebumps even explaining it. Basically, he like spilt a milkshake on her, and like they had a very like laughy moment about it. It's like, he, oh my goodness, how embarrassing. Anyway, and so like basically he steps back and watches like his like girlfriend, or like not anymore girlfriend, walk into this museum and not spill the milkshake. And it's so sad, because as the reader, you know what's happening. You're like, oh my god, like you didn't, like originally you don't realize he's gone back to that moment, but as soon as like you see the love interest like walk by, you're like, oh my god, he's back at the meet cute moment that they were talking about like way at the beginning. And it's like kind of, it's like so like upsetting, but it's like you get why he's doing what he's doing, because like protect her, but then he doesn't get to like be with her. It's like real pulling on the heartstrings moment. It's so good. And then you read the second one and you're like, oh, really just should have ended the first one, right? Question number 8 in this tag is, what book do you wish you could go back and read for the first time again? It's gotta be Percy Jackson. That book has got a special place in my heart. I would love to reread Percy Jackson again. or read Percy Jackson. It wouldn't be rereading because it would be the first time. But I do love going back into that world. It's so special to me, and I love Percy and Annabeth and Grover. Like, they're just an amazing little trio, and even like the side characters that are in that book, they just feel like the main character in their own story. Like, they don't feel like side characters, but it's a very amazing story, and I wish people recognized it more, and I wish people didn't think it was so weird, because that's definitely the vibe that people give it. But it's like, it's just as good as Harry Potter, if not better, because it's got sword fighting and coolness in it. And there's nothing against Harry Potter, it's just like, it is what it is. It's very massively overhyped, but Percy Jackson is just as good. Anyway guys, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, subscribe, because that is always us, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!